If you have corn and milk at home, you've got to try this recipe. We're going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of oil into a pot. Add in 1 cup of popcorn and some salt. Using a spatula, stir all these ingredients well. Now I haven't turned the heat on in my pan yet. It's really important that you mix everything together first. After mixing everything together well, let's turn the heat on to medium. This recipe is delicious. Once the popcorn has started to pop, you're going to want to put a cover on. Our popcorn's almost ready. Let's go ahead and set this aside for now. In a saucepan, I'm going to add half a cup of sugar. Melt this well and be careful not to burn yourself because it gets really hot. And melt this down until a caramel forms. It's always important to cook caramel on a nice low heat. After the sugar has dissolved, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And very carefully give this a stir. And you can just see how cool this looks. The texture has already changed. We're now going to add half a cup of milk. But when you're adding the milk, you just want to add it little by little and stir constantly. Don't stop stirring. Turn the heat back on and stir constantly. Finish with the rest of that milk. And you can just see how absolutely beautiful the caramel looks. This is the ideal point for the caramel. Go ahead and turn off the heat, and we're going to transfer the caramel with our popcorn. The taste of this popcorn will surprise you. Mix the popcorn with the caramel just like this. And this recipe is so popular with kids. Your children will just love this one. Perfect for watching a movie or a TV show. And just like that, our recipe is ready. Transfer this to a serving bowl and call your family to enjoy this with you. But be very careful because it is still piping hot. Now I like to finish by adding some powdered milk on top. Delicious. Our recipe is ready. I hope you make this at home. Bon appetit.
Invite the family over because this recipe is perfect. So start this recipe by separating 1 loaf of bread. And then with a knife, you're just going to cut out all of the crumbs. This recipe also works if you want to use baguette as well. And then just squeeze until a large hole forms in the middle of the loaf. Now add the piece of bread that you've cut into a mold. In all, I cut 8 loaves total for my family. And then add 1 spoonful of cream cheese inside each loaf. This is easy, and the cream cheese is going to make our recipe so tasty. Now, after finishing, just set aside to continue the recipe. We're going to separate 200 grams of ham and 200 grams of mozzarella cheese. Now it's time to cut the ham and cheese into small cubes. So this process is very quick and very simple. There's really no secret, just easy cuts. And add all of the pieces to a larger bowl. And you're going to love the taste of this recipe. It is so, so good. My family loves this recipe. They are always asking me to make it. Now we're going to add 2 chopped tomatoes after adding the ham and cheese. Then 200 grams of cream cheese. I love the taste of this filling too. My family and friends, they're always asking me for the recipe, so here it is. And now all you have to do is mix it into a super creamy filling. So I add super creamy ricotta cheese and just mix patiently, and it's going to turn into a lovely creamy filling. Now this is the texture that we are looking for. You can add some onion and parsley if you prefer, and it's going to be so super tasty. Now just fill each bun with this creamy filling. You can see how pretty it looks. It looks so good. And this recipe is so easy that when everyone's asking you to make it, you'll want to cook it every day. So then finish with some mozzarella cheese on top to make the recipe even tastier. I love the taste of this bread so much. You can also substitute the flavor of the bread if you prefer. And just add as much cheese as you like. And then finish with some oregano. Look at that. This is easy and quick and perfect. So now we're just going to bake until the cheese is nice and melted. And once it is, our recipe is ready. See how tasty that looks? Wow. This is a perfect recipe, and it's super crispy, and that filling is just creamy and perfect. So this is stuffed bread, the perfect family recipe. The taste of this ham and cheese filling, it is surreal and delicious. Okay, cooks, add half a cup of vinegar to your milk. Now before this, boil 3 quarts of milk. And after adding the vinegar, just stir until all the milk curdles. This process will be very fast. As you can see, my milk has already curdled, so it's super fast. And then next, you're going to just turn off the heat and pour the liquid into a strainer to strain. Calmly, so you don't burn yourself, remove the water. Just remove all the water from the milk. And now with the help of a spoon, press the mixture with a spoon or spatula. This way all the water will come out and it will be very dry without any liquid. And my recipe is ready. This step is very fast. So now we're just going to put all the dough together in the blender. Now, I don't buy cream cheese in the market anymore. I make my own cream cheese at home. It's easy enough. And I love this recipe. And this way too, you save time and you save money. Now to help the batter, just go ahead and add a small amount of milk. The batter can get very heavy and thick, so the milk just helps the batter loosen up a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And just add 1 pinch of salt. Now cover and beat everything until it is very well mixed. If you notice that your blender is not beating the mixture, just add some more milk. Just a little liquid will help with that. Okay, and after mixing very well, this is the result. Now put all the mixture in a container to take to the refrigerator. And I'm telling you, don't buy cottage cheese anymore. Make cottage cheese at home. You can see what a fantastic result this is. And besides being simple, it's super cheap. You're going to be surprised at the result of this recipe. So take the recipe to the fridge for just a few hours so that the curd will be firmer than it is. Shall we try it? I'm telling you, it's impossible to eat just one piece of this recipe. So cooks, we're going to start the recipe by cutting an onion. You just want to cut that onion right in half and make small cuts in, I'd say, 6 onions. Now, when you've finished, go ahead and separate the onion pieces and put them in a bowl and then cover with plastic wrap. Now we are just going to place in the microwave for 2 minutes until the onions are nice and soft. So after those 2 minutes, you're just going to remove the plastic wrap. And as you can see, our onions are now super soft, so this is perfect. Next, we're just going to carefully remove the onion skins. This is an easy step, but you just have to be careful not to break them. So just do it with caution. And of course, the onions are also hot, so just be careful not to burn yourself. Now go ahead and set aside these larger pieces in a bowl, and the next step is to prepare the sauce. So we're going to start by adding 400 grams of chicken, 1 grated carrot, 1 onion, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Then add black pepper, 1 spoon of paprika, and just mix everything together. Now, once you've finished, you want to just separate your onions. And then next, you're going to add a spoonful of filling inside your onion skins. And you want to squeeze carefully, and this is the result. Now, after finishing with all of them, our recipe is almost ready. Next up, we are just going to add 1 tablespoon of salt, some black pepper, paprika, and finish with 2 tablespoons of sugar, 100 milliliters of olive oil, and just mix everything together really, really well. And once finished, our sauce is now ready. So, carefully add the onions to a dish with the sauce, just like that. And when finished, place in a bowl. Now, in the rest of the sauce, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of honey, 100 milliliters of water, and then just mix everything together until all is dissolved. Now, add the contents on top of your onions. The spiciness of the sauce just makes this recipe so tasty and so special. Now cover with aluminum foil. And next, we're just going to pop this in the oven. You want to bake it for about 1.5 hours. After that time, the onions are ready, and wow, I mean, see how pretty it looks? It's so pretty. So just remove a piece and serve on a plate. I'm so excited to taste this. Shall we try it? Wow, it's perfect, and it is super tasty.
Learn how to make spoon bread, a super easy recipe. Let's start with 360 mils of milk. We're going to need 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of oil. We're also going to need about 10 grams of biological yeast, and give everything a good stir. Let's mix all those ingredients. This recipe is practical, it's quick, and it really only has just a few ingredients. All right, now that our yeast is dissolved, it's time to add in some flour. This is 500 grams of flour. We're just going to add it in little by little. Stir and mix everything together. And when it forms a nice homogeneous dough, it's time to add the rest of the flour. If you like easy recipes, this one is definitely for you. All right, now that everything is mixed, let's add the rest of our flour. I'm now going to add a little bit of salt and give it another stir. You've never seen a bread recipe that's this easy. All right, this is the texture of our dough, just like this. It should be pretty sticky. Just follow for this texture and consistency. We're going to set this aside. Now, in a pan, let's butter and flour this in advance. And I'm just going to use a couple of spoons, and we're going to add in the bread dough. We're just going to put small amounts in, just like this. I love the taste of this bread. Now, it's important that you don't add too much on top of each other because it's going to get stuck together. Our bread dough is going to rise, remember that. You need to try this recipe at home. It's a ton of fun to make and it's so delicious. It's perfect to eat with a cup of coffee. All right, let's cover this with some plastic wrap. And we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes. All right, it's been 20 minutes and you can see how our bread has risen. To finish, we're just going to add a little bit of egg yolks right on top. I'm just using a silicone brush to make it super easy. The eggs are going to make our bread very golden, super colorful, and delicious. This tip is such a good one. Try this tip at home when you're making this bread. Let's bake this in a 320-degree oven for 20 minutes. And our bread is ready. Look how gorgeous this turned out. Shall we give it a try? Oh, it smells absolutely incredible. The bread is so soft and so tasty. Give this one a try.
Okay, guys, add 6 egg yolks and cover with a bowl. Now place the egg yolks in the center of the pan with the heat on low. While heating, butter the side of the pan. Spread a lot of butter until melted. Now add the whites of the 6 eggs. Put around. Now with a small fouet, beat the eggs white. Whip until nice and white. This is what it should look like, whipping over low heat. And just continue whisking and mixing. Okay, now add the spices. Parsley. Add black pepper. And spread well, don't put too much. Add salt. Add cheese. You can use whatever cheese you prefer. I'm using mozzarella cheese. And I'm adding this more yellow cheese just to make the recipe a little prettier. Now add a few drops of ketchup and add some space between them. Now stir in the egg whites well. And you'll see while the yolks cook, the egg whites fry really well. And even if it is soft, just keep stirring. And add more butter. Swirl around the sides of the pan. And the margarine should drain. I'm cooking on low heat. Now let's remove the bowl because the yolks have already cooked. Make sure to use a cloth so you don't burn yourself. Now look at the yolks. Turn off the heat and release the yolks. Separate the yolks and mix with the egg whites. It's a different omelet. This is how it should look. Shall we try it? Wow, the yolks stay whole. It's very good. And some great different flavors. No gelatin, no cornstarch, no condensed milk, and no oven. A delicious pudding. You're just going to start by adding 1 cup of sugar to a frying pan. From that sugar, you are making a caramel. So when the sugar starts to melt, you just want to keep stirring until everything is melted and the sugar is completely caramelized. Watch the temperature of your fire so it doesn't burn. You just want it to get super, super yummy. And I always use the measure of 1 cup of sugar to half a cup of water. So next you want to go ahead and add your half a cup of water. And I would say you want to add the water slowly so you don't risk the caramel rising and burning or spilling. And then you just want to stir until everything is completely melted. And after melting everything really well, our beautiful caramel is ready to go. Pretty easy and quick, right? So then just turn off the heat and transfer the syrup to your mold and pour all of the syrup into the mold. Now, with the help of a spatula, you want to spread the syrup on the sides of the mold so that it really gets up there. And after finishing that step, we're going to set aside to prepare the dough. So start by adding 3 eggs to your blender, then add 700 milliliters of milk. This recipe, this pudding recipe, it's just so, so yummy. Then you're going to add 2 cups of sugar and add 1.5 cups of wheat flour. Then add 2 tablespoons of margarine. You can replace the margarine with butter if you prefer. And then cover and beat well for a good 3 minutes. Just keep it blending. And after this time, the dough is ready. So next, we just want to pour the pudding batter into the mold with your caramel. And just pour until there is a little space left at the top of the mold. It's important to leave that little bit of space. Now cover with some aluminum foil. And next you want to place the mold in a larger mold with warm water. Now add 2 tablespoons of vinegar to keep your pan from darkening. And turn on the heat and let it cook for a good 45 minutes. And after this time is over, remove the aluminum foil. And this is the result. It is just too beautiful. Now remove and refrigerate for a few hours. And after those hours, our pudding is ready. Shall we try it? So with the help of a plate, just remove the pudding from the mold. This recipe is amazing and just so wonderful. I'm honestly really impressed by it. So just take out a slice and serve it to your family and friends. I mean, it looks super pretty, doesn't it?
Add flour to some boiling hot water. We're going to start with 2 cups of flour and 600 mils of water. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of oil. Stir and mix this dough well. Now we're going to cook this over a low heat until that dough is cooked. The consistency of the dough is thicker, but it's still very homogeneous. Stir well until that's nice and cooked. And this is the ideal point of our dough. Turn off the heat and pour that dough on a work surface here. And we're just going to leave that to cool. I'm now going to add some olive oil. And let's knead this for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. And this is the ideal point of our dough. It is smooth and it is super soft. I'm now going to separate small pieces of dough just like this. And we're just going to roll them into small balls. Repeat the process with all of them. Now it's time to prepare our filling. We're going to start with 150 grams of grated mozzarella cheese, 1 chopped onion, some parsley, and half a teaspoon of paprika. Let's give this a good mix. And we're going to finish the recipe by rolling out those dough balls a little bit, just using our hands. Nice and easy. Once that's rolled out, we're going to add 1 spoonful of that filling we just made right in the middle. Super easy, super delicious. We're going to close that dough just like this, and you can just do it with your fingers, super easy. Now, with a small glass bowl, we're going to just press down and make a cut in the dough just like this.
Oh.
This just makes it nice and even and super pretty. It's in the shape of a pastry now. Now, we're going to finish by frying this dough in some hot oil. When it's nice and golden brown, just gently turn them over so we can fry the other side. Just like this. And our recipe is ready. Look how delicious these look. Serve them on a plate and just remove any excess oil like this. Easy and super delicious. Your family is just gonna love the taste of this recipe. Shall we give it a try? It's just so crunchy and crispy and really yummy. Look how yummy these look. I hope you enjoy. When I make chicken like this, everyone always asks me for the recipe because it is that good. So I'm going to start by cracking 3 eggs into a bowl. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's also season with half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to add some parsley and spring onions in there. 2 grated garlic cloves. And some grated Parmesan cheese. Stir everything together and mix nice and gently. You can see how easy this is, and this is going to taste perfect. This seasoning is great and it will make our meat so tasty. This is easy, quick, and really delicious. All right, we're going to set that aside while we prepare our meat. So I've got 1 large chicken breast. I'm just going to gently slice it in half like this. And then I'm going to make more cuts on the inside, just like this. Now the tip here is that we don't want our chicken to shrink too much when it's frying, so that's why we're going to fillet it like this. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, and we're going to gently beat the chicken breast like this using a kitchen mallet. And this is going to make our chicken nice and tender. The flavor of this chicken is perfect. All right, our chicken is almost ready. First, we're going to place that chicken in a little dish filled with flour. Turn it over so we've got flour coated on both sides of that chicken breast. And now we're going to add that chicken to our delicious seasoning mix that we prepared earlier. Mix it well. And then remove that chicken and just place it on a plate. Now we're going to go prep our pan here. I've got a pan with some oil. I'm also going to add some butter in there. And once the butter melts, we're going to add our chicken. Now, in case you didn't understand why we put butter and oil, it's just to add some more flavor in there. There's a lot of good flavor in butter. We're going to fry it until it's golden brown, and then we're going to turn it over. After it's golden, you can see we're just going to carefully turn it over using some tongs. And now we're just going to wait for it to cook on the other side. All right, our chicken is ready. Just take it out nice and carefully and put it on a plate. Now, this type of chicken is perfect with rice and beans. This would even be delicious with pasta. When you cut into it, you'll see how juicy, tender, and seasoned this chicken is. Cut it up and call your family to enjoy this with you. I know that they are going to love it too. I cannot wait to dig in. Enjoy.